Hey guys, welcome back. This is Trav. On today's video, we're going to talk about storage systems. I've been spending about the last week redesigning my main storage facility on my survival world, which you'll see here in a little bit. And I've been kind of testing a couple new things. The main reason I redesigned it because I needed more bulk storage, and also I needed Shulker filling storage capabilities for the farms that I have at my base. Okay, storage systems can get pretty complicated quickly, so I'm going to try to break this down as simple as I can. There's a lot of very complex storage systems you'll find on YouTube and on the internet that work fantastically on PC, and in theory will work on console, but as you expand in capacity, it's going to create more and more strain on the console. So I try to keep things as simple as I can, and I don't need to sort everything. Usually if I have 50 or 60 storage filters, that's all I'm going to need. So try to live within your means there, okay? So we're going to break this down. I'm going to show you a couple examples, a different design that I'm going with now. I'm testing, and we'll kind of get into this. So let's see what we could do. So first of all, the basics of storage warehouses are going to rely on a filter system and some kind of item delivery system. So let's take a look first at filter systems. So as you can see here, this is the traditional filter system. Okay, so you would have your storage boxes on one side, and above you're going to have hoppers leading into every storage chest, and above those you're going to have a hopper that's pointing into nowhere, and then a feeder hopper that's going to be coming from your water line. Okay, and this represents the water line, and then it's best to always have the water lines along the side of the hopper instead of above the hopper, because sometimes the items can get snagged between hoppers. So have it along the side, so you have a wall on this side, and then use like a fence or something over a pane of glass over top that feeder hopper. Okay, so that's what that is. And then from there you're going to have a reading off of, this is the filter hopper, we'll call it, the one pointing into nowhere. You're going to have a filter reading off of that. And then it's going to come down, and then it's going to send a signal through this block, and then it's going to lock and unlock this hopper. All right. And you'll see a lot of people will use jack-o'-lanterns, with these blocks, because that jack-o'-lantern is overriding the lighting update from this torch, okay, or from redstone does. And as a result, you're going to get less lag, because it's not going to get a lighting update around here because of the light that's already provided by the jack-o'-lantern. So that's what that's for. So there's the standard filter system. And what you would do is you would come up here and you would have 4 filter items into your filter hopper. Okay, and they could be anything you want. Here I have stone buttons. You could use fish. I often use paper, snowballs, whatever you want. Just take a whole bunch of them to an anvil and rename them. I rename them filter. So what I'll do is I'll fill up the last 4 slots in this filter hopper, and then I'm going to take what I want to filter. So let's say this is going to be a stone storage line. Okay, I'm going to shove my stone in here, and it's going to pour out into that bottom hopper, or into that bottom chest, until this reaches 41. Okay, so now what happens is whenever items come along this line, they're not going to go into this feeder hopper unless they're stone. Okay, so that means that this can handle, 23 items at a time. So in essence, you could send 23 pieces of stone together at a time down your water line, and they're going to get pulled through here. Okay, so the nice thing about this system is it's simple, it doesn't take many resources, and it's silent. Okay, the problem with it is the 3 dust produces quite a bit of lag with all their updates, because every single power update to that dust updates the block, creates lag. So here's the new system I went to. Alright, this is the one I'm testing in my world now. We're going to be kind of using this as we expand on these builds. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and cons and kind of how it's built. So you have your storage silo here. Filters, hoppers go into each one, and you have a hopper feeding the side of that, and then you have your incoming hopper, your feeding hopper. And the one that's going into the side of this one, going into the first chest, is your filter hopper. You're going to have your water line coming across here with the wall and with the fence post. You're going to have a comparator reading through that block and reading that hopper, sending the signal down, and a comparator here reading through that block, and it's reading through an empty container. Okay, so like a cauldron here, or a cake, or a composter. All right, and that's going to help avoid some lag, and that's going to feed through this block into this torch, which is going to then lock our filter hopper. Okay, so that's how that one works, and you guys can screenshot these to see the construction. They're pretty straightforward after you see the image. So this one, let's say we want to filter stone. I have my filter items in this filter hopper, the one that's being locked. I put my stone in there. You're seeing it's not drawing any because it's locked. So then what I have to do, I have to take 5 more stacks of the item I want to filter, and I need to put them in this hopper up here. And you're going to see one disappears. Okay? And it's sent down here. So the bad thing about this filter system is the top hopper, the input hopper, can't take more than 1 unit at a time because of the way this filter system works. So that's the problem with it. The good, well, and it's a little more expensive to build. The good thing about it, you have only 1 dust instead of 3. Okay, and the comparator is already reading off of this cauldron. So the good thing about it is it produces almost half the lag that this one does with 3 dust. Okay, so you're going to have to decide for yourself which you prefer. Maybe if you just have your sorting facility all by itself without many farms or anything around it producing a lot of lag, you might go for that. Or maybe use this on some of your farms that are all by themselves and you just need a simple storage facility, you know, or something on the go. You could set that up. But, especially in my case, I have a lot of farms around my sorting facility, so I'm going to require the least amount of lag possible. However, the downside is this can only take 1 item at a time. So there's a couple ways I deal with that. The first thing I do is I slow down my item stream. All right. A hopper takes, I believe it's 5 ticks or 7 ticks to update. So it's either 5 or 7 ticks to update because it has to suck the item and then deliver the item. So you need to slow your item stream down. Okay. So that this system can keep up. So there's some pros and cons to either. Which one you want to use is up to you. But what you'll be using me use for the rest of this video will be this sorter here. Okay, and if you have any more questions about those, let me know down below. Alright, so the next part, beyond the filter, you're always going to need some kind of item stream. In the nether, you would just have a piston pushing the items along the ice. In the overworld, water streams work the best. Okay, so here's a couple things to keep in mind with water streams. Let's say down below these hoppers are all my storage chests. Okay, I've just got this set up for an example. These are the feeding hoppers. All right, so that's those ones up top. There's your feeding hoppers. You have a water stream carrying your parts along the side of all your feeding hoppers. Okay, so the thing you need to do is you need to align parts, because if I put an item there, it's not going to get picked up by those hoppers. So that's not doing us any good. So I need to align items. Now, when the items are taking a left-hand turn, the trick is to use an item that's a block that's smaller than 1 full block. So it bangs up against it, turns left, and then it's going to be kind of hanging over the edge of these hoppers and the waterway. So chests work. You'll see me use cakes as well. Ender chest, all these things work. So that when this item takes this left-hand turn, it aligns itself so that it can get picked up in these hoppers. All right, one more time. Just like that. And that works. Okay? Now the issue, this works on the left-hand turn when the hoppers are here. It would also work on a right-hand turn if the hoppers were here. Basically, it needs to turn from the opposite direction of the hoppers. The problem is right-hand turns, okay, where the hoppers are on the inside. So this turn right here, placing a chest here, isn't going to help, and dropping items into this water stream isn't going to help either. So we need to do something here. Now, on PC, they use sea pickles. You can put 2 sea pickles here. But on PS4, that doesn't do anything. Alright, the items go through the sea pickles, where that's not the case on the PC version, at least the updated PC version. Furthermore, we can't put sea pickles in moving current. It has to be, it has to be along the source block. I can't put these here, but I can put them in the source block. Alright, so the sea pickle idea that you might see on some videos is not going to work on PS4 version because they don't have a hitbox when they're in the water for us. So what that means is we actually have to take a couple right-hand turns. We have to turn this into a left-hand turn. I know that's kind of annoying, but it's the way it works. So if we got rid of some of this stuff, alright, so we would have to instead put chests here, and you always want at least 2. And then we're going to have to turn into these. And then come back to this water stream up here. Okay. Now, you don't have to use ice. Ice helps obviously keep the speed, but maybe if you're finding parts are going too fast and aren't getting picked up, maybe you don't use ice. Alright, so we'll get that going there. Stone pressure plate, signs, trapdoors on the top, all these things work. Keep that water held back. So maybe we have to do something like this. This is what I've done. So that way, then the parts, when they come around, they will align and get picked up. Okay? So it's a little bit of a workaround, but it's kind of what we have to do on those kind of turns. So, item filters and input streams. That's the important thing here. Okay? And then we're going to get into the building of these. Alright, so you can easily, if you wanted to, with your storage facility, just duplicate this over and over and over again, and that'll work fine. Alright, just using standard chests, and you would just work your way up. Just like that, you'd have to put a block here, and then you could put that pumpkin on top, and you could do this and then build your whole storage facility out of these simple sorters, and that could be fine. However, the problem comes in if you have a lot of certain items coming through, especially if you have a farm at this facility, you're probably going to want stuff to be automatically be loaded into shulker boxes. So let's get into how that works. There's several different designs for loading shulker boxes from an item stream. The one that I use that works well on console and it's not very complicated is this one here. The downside to this design is I am unable to access this shulker box to see the items that are put in it, that are being put in, or to put items in if I have a whole bunch of them. So that's the problem with this. But the pro is it's simple to build. It doesn't create a lot of lag. It's not that complicated. Okay, so let's see how to build this thing. Alright, so you could start with... Okay, so we have a couple items and things ready here. So the first thing we need to do is we have these 2 blocks here. We're going to have a dropper here. Dispenser above. Alright? That's going to feed shulker boxes. Chest. Put your funnel down. Now, we can go ahead and do this part here, and then we could do a block of redstone here, dust like that. And then you could put a comparator here that's going to be reading out of our shulker boxes, telling the system when the shulker box is full, that it's time to break it and load a new one. Now before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, we need to put that dropper in. That dropper is going to be in this position here. So we need one more block along the top here. And this helps in survival mode. You want to get this thing into place first. So put that in like that. Now we could do the rest of this. Alright, so let's grab a shulker box. I like to go ahead and put one in to start this thing off. And then we're going to need an observer. Here. It's going to be on top of the comparator. We're going to have another hopper. And off the back of this, we're going to need a, which I don't have here, we're going to need a sticky piston and a normal piston. Normal piston here, sticky piston here, and then we're going to put in our observer here. This top hopper here is going to be our input hopper from our item stream, and then the last thing we do is we come down here and we put an observer just like that. Okay? And then that's how that thing works. Alright, so a couple notes with this. I already told you you can't access your shulker box. So let's say this thing is filtering out slime balls from a slime farm. If I have a whole bunch of slime balls in my pocket, I can't just put them all in here. So usually what I do is if I have a bunch, I have this will be a floor up here. I put them all into like this drop or something and let it just start feeding the system. The second problem, I can't fill this thing easily with shulker boxes from an input line, like using hoppers, because they're being fed from here. So it's hard to set up a hopper chain to automatically fill these. So in my world, what I do on the first one, I actually have stairs going down, and I can access all these from below. And I could just load them all individually with hoppers. Alright? I think that pretty much settles it. If for some reason it doesn't break a shulker box and you need to forward the thing once, you could just replace this redstone. Just like that. It already broke that shulker box. And it'll load another if you have one into here. Alright, so actually let's put one into here and let's advance this. There it is. Just like that. Okay? So if you needed to load a new shulker box. So that's that basic system. So what we'll do now is we'll get into the design of this sorting facility using this. Alright. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I got a couple of these set up. So what I've done here is I've set up 5 of these shulker box loaders. And I got them next to 5 of my item sorters. Alright. And I can build this however I want. I'm just kind of giving you guys an example of how you want to set this up. So obviously the bulk amount of items that you get most into your system, you want to first load into shulker boxes. You want these at the front of the item stream, if that makes sense. So your main item you get a lot of, go ahead and load it into the shulker boxes before it goes through all the other filters to all your other chests. Okay? And then now the nice thing about making a full facility like this is you can kind of, you don't have to do things one at a time. You can, especially with these filters, I could place a whole line of blocks and then put all the comparators on, a whole line of blocks, put all the pumpkins on. You know, I could do all those quickly in a bulk instead of one at a time. Alright, so there's a couple things here. You have your boxes on 2 different levels for the sorting room. So you can make a level down below, and this could be a floor. My goodness, Trav, place the block. You know, you could have one level down here, and then you could have another level up here. So it could be a multi-floor sorting facility. You walk around here, you can get to all your main storage chests, and you can walk around down here, and you can get to all your shulker boxes. All right, that works fine. And let me show you this, what I have here. Okay, so the first floor, I have access to my shulker boxes. And as you can see here, I've got a little steps that goes down, and I can get underneath here, and I can access all of these. All right? So that's that. And then I can go up to my next floor, and I can see all of my bulk storage up here. Here I've gone for 3 chests, which is, I think, plenty for most items that aren't being loaded into shulker boxes. And all that these are just covering the redstone down below. You know, maybe you want to use trapdoors instead, so if you need to update one of those, you could easily get to it. But I find I don't have to update those a whole lot. So I have everything I need right here. And what I've done here is I've placed a water stream down. So like if I'm doing crafting, you know, or what have you, and I need something resorted, I could throw it all down in here, and it's going to get resorted through the whole system. Okay, it's going to go up an elevator there, and well, doesn't look like I've set it up yet. No, I haven't. And it'll come up here and it'll get fed into. You can ignore a lot of this. This was me testing speeds, but as you can see here, I've used cakes. I've got my items going around and around. Okay, so to handle overflow here, the 80 items that won't fit into these because they're full, or if it's going too fast, are going to go all the way to the last, or let's say the first set of boxes that don't have a filter sorter. Okay, so if there's no filter here, if I were to take that out, all the garbage is going to go into here and it's going to start piling up here. Alright, or overflow items. Like let's say items are feeding too fast for one of these to keep up. The extra items are going to go past and they're going to go into your last chest. Alright, so what you could do is you could just resort that stuff later, or if you want, you can have those hoppers feed, you know, lava. Dispense the items into lava and just burn them right there. It's up to you. But all overflow are going to go to the first silo that's going to be unfiltered. That's where all your overflow items are going to go. Okay? Okay, so another thing I wanted to cover with you guys, since we've already gotten most of the basics out of the way and how you can design your storage room, is how to set up your input. Okay? And you could put it wherever you want. So let's go ahead and put one in here. Alright, so we have an input chest. So what we need to do to get this thing to work. So I'm going to clear this out of the way just so you can see how this is going to build. The input chest is going to feed a hopper, which is then going to feed a dropper, or a dispenser, I'm sorry. So let's get this dispenser in. Actually, I want this on this side. Just like this. Just like that. So now, if I test this, I put items into there, and they show up in the dispenser. So now what we need to do is we need to make them auto-dispense. So what we do with that is we have a block out the back, block on the side, like that. Then we need a couple blocks here to put some redstone down on. I need one more. Okay, so the block out the back, go ahead and have a comparator pull the pulse out of it. That's going to feed a repeater into this block, and then you're going to have redstone like this. Okay, so now, if I put items into here, they're going to be dispensed. So now all I need to do is run these items to my, up to my sorting room. So let's figure out where they need to go up, and then we'll do a water elevator. Okay, right there. So if I were to see this, let's go ahead and get the sides in place. need my items to go up here. At any rate, let's go ahead and build all this up. And then what we're going to need is soul sand down here. Just like that. I know where it ends. Oh. Yeah, it makes it enough. Okay, that's fine, because or else you always wanted to go one short anyway, because if it didn't, you'd have to block it. So it ends up one short of the end. There we go. So as far as how you do this, you need source blocks on every one above the soul set to get the items to rise. Alright, so let's get these in as well. Okay, so here's where things get a little interesting. You could put a source block there and you're going to think, well, that's going to work. It's going to come up and over. The problem is the parts have a lot of momentum in these water elevators, and they seem to get stuck right there. And if you try just covering it up, they actually just shoot through. They'll just shoot through blocks that you put above it. They'll just glitch through it because they carry a lot of momentum in the water elevator. So the way you deal with that is you get a sign and you actually stop the water one below the top. We'll get out of here. Just like this. So then, when I throw an item into there, comes up and over. Where'd it go? That was weird. I think it's glitching on this block that I put it up against. Let's see. There we go. Goes up and over without any problems. Alright, so that's how you handle the top of those. And that's pretty much it. Oh, this now this here wouldn't work because it's taking the right-hand turn. So just think about where you're going to have it. You know, and make sure you take the correct turn. Alright, this is just an example, because you need it to align correctly with the hoppers. Alright, so this gives you kind of a basic idea. Alright, now these are just Lincoln log pieces. You have shulker box fillers, item sorters, water streams, input chests. Put them in whatever orientation works best for you in the footprint you want to take in your storage facility. Alright. Maybe you put the input chest farther away so you don't have to hear it, because I think the sound carries about 15 blocks. You know, put it away if you want to, so you don't have to hear the dispenser. So it's up to you. So what we'll do now is we'll go into my survival world and we'll take a look at the one I built, and you can kind of see an example of how all this can kind of come together. So let's go take a look. Okay guys, so here we are in mine. So here's the main sorting hall. You're going to hear a bunch of stuff clicking as the farm items come in. Here's the main sorting hall. Here's my shulker box loaders. I've also put in a block in here so I can get down in here. Because one thing I think would be helpful is if you put item frames or item sorting frames here somewhere so you could see what it is. Because like if I have a handful of, let's say, bamboo, what I do now is I have to come back here and see, okay, this one's bamboo. If I don't know, throw all the bamboo in there. And let them load. So that's just something. It's interesting in this game, the things you find after building the stuff in survival, that it's like, oh well, I guess I can add that. So anywho, here's the main haul, just as you saw in that build. Instead of item sorters, I'm replacing stuff with the item blocks to save on performance. Got my item sorters in. Don't mind the purple right now. I gotta make the stairs look a little better. Here's my item stream. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. The last thing you should do once this is all done is go around in every exposed hopper. Put a furnace on top of it. Having something with an inventory on top of a hopper is going to keep that hopper from trying to update. So put a furnace on top. It's supposed to help with your lag. So here's my item stream coming in. Here, as you can see, I got carrots coming in from the farm. They're going to come down and they're going to get sorted in and loaded. And you can see the items are coming in from up there. I have items coming from the farms all being staged in a hopper mine cart to kind of help because I have quite a bit coming in at once. And there's that dispenser system built, just like you saw a minute ago. Block coming out the back, pull coming around, the items being fed. And I have to take this little turn so the things get aligned. And then over on this side, everything goes through that wall right there, comes around here, takes a right, and then another left on these cakes, and lines up for this side. So that's my top. Upstairs, here's all my sorting boxes. And then if we were to go downstairs, you could see where I have the Shulker box sorting right here. Shulker box is your slime and everything else that I've got. A ton of bamboo from the bamboo farms. Everything loaded there, and I have this access here, so I can come back here and make sure you don't cover up where these observers are going to be. I can come back here, get underneath, and I can access all these and load Shulker boxes up to keep that going. Yeah, that's the water, the parts coming in. I could drop things into there. They'll fall down and they'll get carried around in a water elevator. You know, things that I might be crafted and whatnot. Everything else, I've kind of used all this space on the wall for you know, items that I don't need sorted. I can go around this wall and I can place all that stuff. Give me, you know, because you don't want everything shouldn't be auto sorted. It's just unnecessary. And that's kind of the basics. That's how I got mine to work. So far, I'm really happy with it. It performs very well. And that's pretty much it. So if this helped you guys, please leave us a like. If there's any other questions you have, let me know in the comments down below. For the next few days, I'm going to be working on a perimeter for a witch farm. Going to be using flying machines and TNT, so if you guys would like, maybe I could do like a let's play or kind of a recap or something like that of what I'm going to be doing with that, but that's going to be keeping me busy for a little while now. So anything else you would like to see other than that, just let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get to it. Pretty much it, guys. Have a great weekend. This is Travis.